Fox News contributor Robert Wolf joins us now from Martha's Vineyard, where he recently hosted an event for Vice President Biden. Robert, welcome. How are you?
Good to see you. The event, as you know, was virtual. And by the way, Liz, I told this friend of mine that I'm going to be on with you, and he loves you, so he decided to come by. I think he really wants to promote his new Apple TV show on Fox. But there's this guy who was my caddy yesterday playing golf. He's a pretty good caddy.
Oh, God.
So Bill wanted to say hello.
Yeah, you'll get nothing and like it. Hi, Bill. Good to see you. Welcome to Fox Business. I like the sweater. Is he wearing shorts?
See, he was on the golf course, and I'm doing this. We want to make sure we talk about Biden.
Well, Bill, I think you should moderate the next presidential debate. I think that way we could actually get some answers on some serious stuff from both candidates, right? Thumbs up?
Yeah. I probably a couple cups of coffee, I think I could do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome, Bill, and please feel free to chime in at any point. All right. Let's just get right to what's going on at the moment. President Trump has just made the announcement via a tweet storm, Robert. I don't know if you heard this, that no stimulus. He doesn't want to have stimulus talks until after the election. Do you think that Joe Biden is going to now drill down on what he feels is necessary, and how will that square with undecided voters?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense that right now Joe Biden leans in. His Build Back Better plan, if you look at what Moody's Analytics said and the Wharton Research Center, they both said they would add more jobs, less debt, higher wages. Actually, the Moody's Center said it would add 18 million jobs, 7 more million than Trump. And the truth is, this recovery, I know that the administration keeps calling it a super V-shaped one. But you and I have chatted. It's more of a K-shape. You have the haves who are doing incredibly well, the top 10% of the country, and you have the have-nots with small businesses closing continually, and the gap between white males and the black and brown community is gapping. And we're just in this situation where we need more stimulus. So the idea that he can't make a deal, he's supposedly the art of the deal, is just mind-boggling to me.
How is Joe Biden's plan going to raise wages? I have looked at everything that's been happening, and President Barack Obama had improved certainly the economy after the disastrous 2008 financial crisis, and it took a while. Then he handed that baton to President Trump, who continued to run with it. We had a very strong labor market and an economy that appeared to be humming along, but wages overall, and I'm talking over the past couple of decades, have not kept pace with the cost of housing, the cost of healthcare, or the cost of education. We need to get wages up. What's the plan?
Liz, unfortunately, in this country, the most bipartisan thing everyone agrees on, the right, left, unions, Chamber of Commerce, the center, is the need for infrastructure. And infrastructure actually is the fastest multiplier of GDP, and it's actually the best for wages. They're high-paying jobs. They're not minimum jobs. They're high-paying. And so if you look at Joe Biden's plan, like $2 trillion of his plan focuses on infrastructure and clean energy. And these are private sector jobs. So it looks at not just roads and bridges and water system, but new type of infrastructure, battery charging stations, new electricity grid, next generation GPS. And then the second part of his phase is the manufacturing sector. And that's where, literally you're going to be taxed if you offshore, and you're going to get tax credits if you onshore. Those are the way we build real jobs that are sustainable.
Well, tax credits get big businesses very excited. One last question, capital gains. Of course, when you sell a stock at a profit, you've got to pay capital gains tax. Traditionally, that's lower. And I know Bill Murray probably owns a few stocks here and there, and he'd like to cash in and not be taxed too much, or maybe he would.
Well, we know he owns Apple stock because he's got his new movie on it coming out. But
yeah, okay. I hope he got some shares in.
Stock is presents, Liz. I don't buy anything. People just give me gifts, presents.
Liz, I know you've been on this
capital
gains thing, but I just want to clear some facts. One, it's capital gains going up for those that make an income over $1 million. Number two, capital gains it's not like people turn around and make different investments. That's not where we're building small businesses. Let's recall 87% of the stock market is owned by 10% of the highest earners. We've seen in consumer spending that they haven't changed their habits. They're making more money. So we need to make sure that we get our money, that this trickle down that's not working changes. When we start trickling up, we have to make sure that the base of our country is the ones making money, and that's small businesses. And under this administration, 1 in 6 are closing on a daily basis.
Robert, good to see you. Bill, thanks for joining the Claman Countdown as an observer, darling. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Bill Murray, and of course, yeah, that is Bill Murray. And Robert Wolf.